Hello everyone, I hope you can see my screen. Kindly confirm and also whether I'm audible. Okay, so yesterday I sent the assignments, but just a few I've shared, so I won't go through it today. So make sure you share so I can give feedback on your work. That's on yesterday's assignment. Yesterday we covered on using case statement. Of course we didn't work on the same so that I would allow you have some time work on the assignment. If you're stuck, you can also let me know. So today we're going to look into stored procedure. And a stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save, so the code can be reused over and over again. So it means this is a line of code that you probably might be using from time to time. Other than rewriting it over and over again, you can save it as a stored procedure, so that all you'll need is call your procedure and you'll be able to get the exact output you'll be looking forward to. Yeah, so here is the syntax: delimiter, the double and. We have the process. We start by create procedure, you give it a name, a procedure name, then you begin, you type your codes. Now here, for example, I can have select all from employees, so that will be my declaration section. Then we add our question, or our stored procedure with, and the same and last the delimiter. So this is the syntax of generating a stored procedure. Yeah, then we have the description of what we have. We have the procedure name. It represents the name of the stored procedure, so you give the name that you'll be calling. It has a procedure name, so that when you want to execute now this stored procedure, you don't have to record it. You just have to call this name that you'll enter here. Then we have the declaration section. It represents the declaration of all the variables. Executable section, it represents the code for the function execution. How do you call stored procedure? Once you store it, because you don't have to rewrite it, or neither will you copy it for you to execute it, you'll call it. Every stored procedure should have a unique name, so you cannot have multiple procedures existing with one name. So every stored procedure should have a unique name, and the syntax to calling it is call and then the name of the procedure. That's the name we said you indicating after create procedure part. This is the name you will call and then the procedure name, and you get the result. Yeah, without typing the codes again, without typing the stored procedure and such. Yeah, so let's go to SQL. Yesterday we did the case statement. I shared as well the codes. Yeah, so we're going to be using the employees data set. One thing is that anytime you come back to SQL, you either make sure the schema you want to use is active. Yeah, otherwise it's not. You can double click on it, or else you can call it, or you can use it by the use of use and then the name of the schema. For example, use employees, because that's the schema that we're going to be using. Yeah, so either way you'll be able to have your schema at use. Yeah, so let me add an SQL script file. Go to File, New Query tab, or you can just click on this first command here, and we have SQL file 6. We're going to rename it later. What we're going to be doing is creating stored procedure. Yeah, okay. So stored procedure, we have said we are creating it. And one thing, if you don't know the snippet of creating a stored procedure, we have one. So under the schema we are using, we have tables, we have views, then we have stored procedure. So you click on stored procedure, that's right clicking, you'll see create stored procedure. It will give you a snippet of how a stored procedure should look like. Yeah, so I click on stored procedure. So this is the syntax. Create procedure, the procedure name, you begin and you end. Yeah, one thing again here, where we have our snippet of the stored procedure, we don't have the execute tab. Yeah, we don't have the execute tab, we just have the command line area. New stored procedure, the name has new stored procedure. Yeah, and then the process. So I'll just go back to SQL file, SQL line 6, and I'll type, we said our SQL script is starting with delimiter. Yeah. Yes, Jesse?
How did you create that new procedure routine? Because I'm having trouble creating mine, I don't know why.
You just come here where we're having, for example, we're having these schemas. I'm using employee schema, so I click on the drop down so that I'm seeing table, view, stored procedure, and then function. Under stored procedure, I right click and you'll see create stored procedure. You can click on that and you'll have the new procedure routine.
Alright.
Okay. So we said in our query, if you check on the notes, we have our code running from delimiter, the and, then we start now the create procedure. Yeah, so I'll just hit enter, then I start create procedure. Sorry Kevin, I was not in a position to admit you, so create procedure. Create procedure, and now the procedure name. Yeah, so, and also as it is in other tables or when creating database, you have one name for your table names, database names, the same way you're supposed to have table name here as one. So I call this procedure employees. That's my procedure name. I'll hit enter and then begin. I'll hit enter again. So we have delimiter, create procedure, procedure name, begin, and now here you can write your function. So I'll use a simple one. Select all, use asterisk to indicate all, select all from employees. So I can see the error in line 4, then whether we have a comma before begin here. Okay, there should be a comma, so let's come back to that in a few. Begin, select all from employees, use the semicolon. Remember, semicolon, the way we have been writing the SQL command line, that's what we have in between begin and end. Enter, then we have end. The the and then delimiter. Use space and enter. So I'm having error in begin. So let me check on my procedure. We have create procedure, start procedure, begin. Not really sure whether the name should be in quotes because I can see no comma here. And we have create procedure. Okay, this is where the error is. Create procedure employees, it should be enclosed with opening and closing brackets just after employees, because this is what we are going to be calling, and it will enclose all the data that we're going to be having here. So I just added the opening and closing brackets. You can see also at this point of our new procedure routine we have the brackets, so they're very important, and then we no longer have the error. So let's execute this. So just run. The procedure was successful. Then I'll call it call. I need to do something. I don't know whether I need semicolon at this point. Okay, let me see. The procedure name is employees, so call employees, the name we have here. I run that. So it was successful. I want to show you where we get an error. It is very rare to notice the error. If you type the entire line of command from delimiter to the delimiter, in between and everything is correct, then after the last delimiter you forget to space delimiter space. You can see there's a space between delimiter here before I click enter. Let me remove that space. I'm having an error. This delimiter is not valid in this position. So the space after the last delimiter is very, very important. Again, it will affect the next line. Previously, what we were doing, when we have stored procedure and then add up with error, this error here, we would remove the delimiter name, and you can see the command line looks okay. But now this will affect line number 8. So let me try and run again the stored procedure. Okay, I can't rerun it because we say the stored procedure should have one name. Let me call it. Oh, I need to create a new one. This is stored procedure of employees with delimiter in it, so no reflection have been made. So let me create a second stored procedure here. So I'll give it definitely a different name. Remember, we said you can't recreate a stored procedure twice. For example, if I try to, this is the error, procedure employee already exists, so each procedure should have a unique name. Yeah, so I'll have delimiter, then we have the and create procedure, the procedure name, I'll call it just data. And remember, we have said these brackets are very important. Let me give it data 1 so that it's a stored procedure name. Then we have begin, and we can have select again, select, select all from employees. That's the employees table, and you close the semicolon, then we end the dollar sign. So what I was saying, if you type delimiter, yeah, without spacing, you'll have an error that way. So if you delete the delimiter and leave just to the end, the query again will be successful. So I'll execute it the way it is. It was successfully created. I'll hit enter and call the procedure. Call data 1 and execute that. It seems successful. Okay, we're getting the error as well. The output is there, which is similar to what we previously had. So the error we were getting is that it tries to recreate what we have here, and we get an error of employees duplicate or the data 1 duplicate. Just in case you're experiencing such, you just need to add delimiter and space. That's all. So we have used a simple select statement. Jesse, do you have a question? Yes.
Yes, I have a question. On my side, I'm getting an error from the call data. I don't know if because I've missed the delimiter.
Yes. That's the reason why. So you just need to add delimiter. You should have delimiter here, and use space. After the last delimiter, use space. Yeah.
Not working.
Okay. So if you might end up. I just realized mine just worked successful, and on previous classes we have been having the error without the last delimiter and space. Okay, let's create another procedure. So have delimiter, sorry, then we have create stored procedure. Yeah, create procedure, not stored procedure. Create procedure. Create procedure. You can just give it the name employment. Employment. I'll hit enter and begin. Yeah, after begin, we're going to type one of the case statement we used yesterday. Yeah, I'll use the last one. Select, I don't know whether this is visible. This is the last case statement. Sorry, because I didn't increase the size screen earlier on. So you have select employment number, first name, last name. Yeah, so this is the command I'll be using. Okay, sorry for that. So I was copying our case statement whereby we selected employment number, first name and last name, and we created a fourth column showing whether a person is employed or not. So let me just execute it first before I copy it. This is how the results were: employment number, first name, last name, and current employment. So I'll copy this and paste it as my it's enclosed, so it's running from select. Let me increase the size as well, the size of my screen, sorry. So we have create procedure, employment, and again we need the bracket, the closing and opening brackets are very important. Then we have being select statement, with a case. This is our yesterday query. Then our end, we have the and lastly delimiter in space. I want us to create this procedure, then call it and see whether we're going to get the exact output what we had in our select our case statement area. So I'll execute that. It was successful, and then I'll call employment. I'll execute that and you can see you have employment number, first name, last name, and current employees. So once you create a stored procedure, you'll not need to rewrite the command line over and over again. Yeah, you'll just need to call the procedure, and that's it. Is there any question? Okay, so I hope we're together to that point. So I don't know whether you have noticed something here. Anytime I create a stored procedure from the previous I had, we have where I call line 17, I called data 1, this stored procedure. I didn't add a semicolon, but again it didn't affect the stored procedure I created later on, which is not obvious because in our previous line of commands, you see when you miss a semicolon where a command ends, you end up with an error. So yeah, so that's on stored procedure. That's on stored procedure. The next thing we're going to be looking at is that's on stored procedure. Okay, let me go back to SQL. We have procedures, we have created 3 of them. So how do we see them? Maybe here or later under the stored procedure area. Yeah, you either refresh the schema, we can refresh the schema using these motion like icons, or right click here and then you click on refresh, or either you have refreshed the schema, and once you refresh the schema under stored procedure we get now a drop down. So on that drop down we have data 1, employees, and employment, and these are the stored procedure we have created. They are visible. You just need to refresh the schema so that they are visible on our schema. Okay, we have data export. We have data export. And we export data. For example, we created a database or a schema and called it called it class, but we haven't worked with it anyway. We just created it. It's only stored in our schema, but we haven't stored it in our machines. So the export is a way to go, how to export. So we're going to be going through the steps of exporting data. Of course, another thing, let me call a stored procedure the last one. We are having data here that contains employment number, first name and last name. Then we have the employee's status, either employed or not employed. We get this when we execute the case statement. Here I'll execute this, and again I get the same thing. Anytime you extract this extraction, you can save it, because you don't have anywhere unless you rerun the codes and over again. If this data set was needed somewhere as a document containing employment number, first name, last name, and then the current employees, you can save it in your computer, and this is where you save it. Export. You have an export tab here, so I'll just click on it, add a results grid. I'll click on export this. It takes me to my computer. You give it a name, and the best thing is that you can save this document containing employment number, first name, last name, and the employees, current employees. You can save it in different types. So I'm having save as type you have a drop down to the end, so you can save it as a .csv file, you can save it as a HTML file, a JSON file, an SQL insert statement, an Excel spreadsheet, yeah, XML. XML. We have that's my SQL format. Then we have the tab separated. Yeah, all this format you can be able to store or save this. So I'll choose to save it as an Excel spreadsheet, and then click on save. Of course, you can give it a different name here, add a file name. You make sure you're able to see where you're saving it. So I'll save. Already exists. Employee salary. Okay, let me replace it. Then I'll go to my computer and locate the document I just saved, employee salary. Yeah, say the desktop SQL, employees underscore salary. Here it is an Excel file. Yeah, so just double click on that so that it opens, and let's see what the document contains. So I need to resize this. Oh, do they exist as a statement? First name. Oh, okay, that's one. Let me open the second one. There are two documents. This exists as a sentimental data. Let me see the second employee. Yes, Heini. Here it is.
You can that other one that you have, you can convert it into cells. In Excel, you can click on the title tab on that other one, and you can say text to cells, and you just specify the delimiter, and it will then make it like a nice table.
Okay, so it's saved twice by default. So you're having these two employees salary, that is a Microsoft Excel, and this XMLS document, and different KBs. This exists as sentiment, but the second one exists as an Excel file. But now here we have employment number, we have first name, last name, and current employees. I hope we have this. Just in case you're having just the first one, you can let me know if you don't have both of them. Okay, so this is the table. You can save it as saved in Excel, that is, you can have it saved in different formats, and you can use it for further purposes. Okay, that's on saving our results grid. Any result grid can be saved. So I close this, and you go to the export, data export, and this is how we go about that. Under server, in our menu list, file, edit, view, query database, we have server. You'll see the export tab, yeah, click on that, and there is the data export pop-up. Steps. I want you to follow keenly on this, especially when we are selecting the export. One, you choose the schema that you want to export. You can export the class. You can export any schema. Remember, the schema is a schema that was here once we installed the our SQL file or MySQL itself. So you select the schema you want to export. Yeah. Then we also have a very important part. Just below, we have this box where we are selecting our tables. Yeah. Then we have schema objects. If I select on the export class, we have a table class, lecturer, student, and students. This is what is contained in our schema dataset, what we created in our first few classes. Yeah. Just below this point where we're having schema objects, there's this box written dump structure and data, and has a drop down. I want us to talk about this drop down outputs because they are very important in selection, and also they affect our saved document. Yeah. The first one is dump structure and data. Yeah. And what happens if you select this as your saving option? It will save both the table and the data rows. It will save both the table structure, that's why I have dump structure, and the data. If you select the second one, dump data only, it will save only the inserted rows in the table. That means you won't be saving the table structure. And lastly, dump structure only, it will save only the table structure, and it will not save the row in the tables. So it's always good to make sure you've chosen the best option. By default, it will be dump structure and data, and which is the best option per se. Yeah. I'll scroll a little bit or minimize the output. Remember how we minimize the output? Right top where we had our windows, you just put off this tab, the second that's in the middle, to minimize the output, so that we just have our current view. We have our export option area. So under export options, we have export dump project, and we also have export to self-contained files. They are different between these two things. These two are export options. If you choose the first, export dump project folder, it will save all the tables as separate SQL data folders. Yeah. So we have objects such as class, lecturer, student, and students. If I export it as to dump a project folder, it will save each of these objects as separate files. Then we have the second option, export to self-contained options, which I want you to select. It will export into a single or self-contained file. Rather, it will export all the objects as one SQL file, and you want your data as one SQL file definitely, so you choose export as self-contained file. You can choose the path here by clicking on the last drop down here, the last command where we have 3 dots. Click on that, and now you can locate the location. You can change the location. The current location in my case is CC, localhost, we have user PC, document dumps, and then the file name is dump 2023/09/27.sql. That's the file name. So if I click on the three dots at the end, I'll be able to locate or to change the location of where my work will be saved. Yeah. And again give it a name. Yeah, say let's call it class, and then click save. So now we have the same file, but now the document name is class.sql. Last but not least is to start the export. You can see the start export tab to the right bottom here, start export. If in any way the start export tab is not visible, we have the export progress where we selected our schema, that's class. We have object selection, next to it is export progress. So you can click on export progress and you'll be able to see the start export here. You can click on that. The time it takes depends on the size of your schema or your data entry. Yes, Michael.
I was wondering on the we didn't mention anything about objects to export.
What do you mean objects to export at this point?
Just below refresh, those the objects to export, dump stored procedures and functions, dump events, dump triggers. We just leave that one unselected always.
I'm not really sure. Are you talking about the schema area or
just where you are, huh? Just above export options?
Yeah, I see that. The objects to export here.
Yes, we leave all of them unselected always.
Yeah, not always. For example, if we in our class database we don't have any stored procedure, we don't have any. But if we have, you can check this. Then we have events as well, and yeah. Yeah, then you click start export. Okay. So I've said the time it takes, it depends on the file size of the file. So export completed. If you have an error, you can let me know. Yeah, so we have exported this into our data set or into our computer. Yes, Jesse?
On my side, it's not even exporting. I don't know what's the issue.
Are you getting any error?
No, not an error. It's just not even working. I don't know why.
Okay, in a position to share your screen.
Yeah, can share.
Okay, you can kindly. Okay, can you click on start? Okay, wait a minute. Go back to object selection. Okay, you can click on start export. Can you see the start export? It's on the lower right corner, the lower corner on the right side of your screen. Is that tab indicating start export? Do you see that?
This one.
I can't see your mouse. No, to the right, to the right.
Started.
Yes. Click on that. It's exporting and it is completed.
Okay.
Yeah. So have we all managed to export, or is there any question or someone who's stuck? You can let me know as well. So we're going to follow the same steps when we are importing. You have exported, the same case applies when we are importing. The same step, choosing the dump file, so I hope you can see my screen. I'll just click back to SQL file 6. This is where we have our stored procedure. So I'll have to close the result grid here. Then I'll go to server again, and just below data export we have data import tab. So you click on data import tab, data import tab. And here, because we are importing data from now our computer, on the import where we have import from dump project, you're going to import your dataset as different SQL files. You can import it as self-contained file, or the file will be imported as just one file. So self-contained is the most recommended. Then you locate the data you want to export in your computer by clicking to, in line with import from self-contained file, to the right we have these 3 dots. Click on that. Yeah, so I click on the 3 dots. In this case, I locate the employees dataset we used. Yeah, we opened it as an SQL script, and again we're going to, you can also as well import it, the employees. Yeah, you select and then open. You can see the path. Then the next thing is just below the import schema object. We have again where we have the dump data structure, dump data only, and dump structure only. Again, the same sequence follows. Yeah, so you can leave it as it is, then you click on start import. Yeah, start import. Import is running. Taking quite some time. taking time. Not really sure. Is anyone where the import is complete? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, it's completed now. The import was complete. So just as when we opened the SQL script, you realized the first command was delete employees if it exists. So you had employees, so it was deleted if it existed, and now it imports again employees. That's on import. So apart from us opening the SQL script, by going to File, Open SQL script, and locate an SQL file or document, or using the second icon here. The other way to go about it is just importing. Where in importing you just import, you don't have to run any code, you'll just refresh the schema. Just refresh the schema and you have your database. That's on importing and a schema or a database that was created. Otherwise, you can open SQL scripts. For example, the queries we have been working on, I've been sharing them. You can use File, Open SQL script, and you're able to open them and also able to navigate them through. Yeah, that's on data export and import. Yeah. Then we have something we call the wildcards, and at this point we're going to be using the like function. We're going to be using the like functions like operator. So I just add a comment here. Sorry, wildcard. And we are going to be using the like function. So I'll give an example. We have employees dataset, and definitely we have names beginning with different letters. Probably we are looking on a name of a person where we don't know their full names, probably, and we want details about them. We just know that their letter begins probably with a specific letter. So we're going to create wildcard using like function so that we're able to generate any letter that starts with such. For example, we can select all from employees, yeah. Then we say where. Remember, we say we use this where to filter. Where first name, first underscore name. Then now we use like function, like in quotes. Let's say it begins with C, so I'll just add C and then the modulo. What this means is that we're going to get any employees data entry with first name beginning with C. I run that. So I'm having an error. Oh, what is the error here? Procedure does not exist. Employees employment does not exist. Okay, let me refresh my schema. So we can't run this process. If you go to we re-imported the employees dataset, so we don't have any stored procedure. unless we create them or rerun what we have up there. So let me execute the entire by using the first command line. So now I refresh the schema again, and now we have the stored procedure back. The reason they weren't there, it's because we re-imported the dataset. That means the first command line in employees database is delete employees if exist. So it began by deleting, then it imported. Yeah, if you can just open the SQL script and look through the command line, that was the first command on SQL. So I wanted to see a wildcard, whether it was successful. Yes. So we have employment number, birth date, first name, last name, gender, hire date of all, first name beginning with C. So you can check on the list, first names beginning with C, all those, because that's what we requested on our wildcard. Yeah, you can have ending, which is the opposite of what now we have here. Of course, you can have different letters. For example, you can have letters starting with A. All you need is before the modulo, it means starts with. Yeah. Then ends, it's the alternative, the opposite. Yeah. Whereby we start with the modulo and ends with. So I'll have select all from employees where first name, or you can use last name, last underscore name, like, and in this case for ends with, we're going to have our modulo as the first thing. So we'll have modulo, and then let's say A. Let's see whether there's a name that last name that's end with A, and these are the names that ends with A. That's the last name. Yeah. Lastly is a case whereby we have in between. Yeah, whereby we know the middle letters, but we don't know the first, probably the first and the last. Yeah, so have select all. Of course, you can select specific columns. Select all from employees where first name, first underscore name, like, and here we're going to be working with in between. So I'll have modulo, and then the letters that are in between the name, let's say AR, and then you close the same. Oh, we need the quotes as well. So let's see whether there's a name that has er in between. That's first name. So this is the list. Yeah, first name, you have Pato, you have Mary, you have Aliba Hart, we have Otmar, and so on. In between, starts with, ends with, and in between. Is there any question? Or any clarification needed on that? Or if you're stuck on your side, you can also let me know. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. I believe we don't have any questions. So I'll I'll give you an assignment of using or creating a wildcard using the like function. So the question is, let me write it here, extract let me close this. Extract all from employees where last name starts with last name starts with, in quotes, Saudbu, and ends with S, letter S. So this is the question: extract all from employees where last name starts with B and ends with S. Here's the question in the comment section, on the chat area, sorry. You can as well try using different letters, and then you'll give me feedback on that. So tomorrow we're going to be having our final class. Then I'll share a project which will work on it next week before we begin the next part of our program. So I'll share the project that will work on it next week. Thereafter we'll get way forward on the next program, so communication definitely will be made on the group. So You can reach out if you have a question. Make sure you work on yesterday assignment. I didn't see any feedback. I guess just a few. Most of us didn't submit our work, so work on it so that we can get as well to send feedback on the same. Work on this as well and share. So we're going to end our class there if you don't have any question. So have a nice evening.